Bob's, how's your day going aside from, dealing with media today?
Oh, it's a joy. They let me out to talk about the show. This is lovely.
So much I want to ask you, but let's lead with this show first and foremost. Was it a difficult season to make? Because let's face it, there's a lot going on between top tier talent, great storylines that are merging the future with fantasy, etc.
Yes. No, it was it was
Difficult.
tough. No, we were aiming high in regards to look of picture, in the sense of aiming for a quality, a feature quality level of look of picture, but also I'd say sort of a depth of storytelling that's also that you would come to expect from not only like an Apple TV Plus series, but just from the streaming world where we really get to. I love the fact that it used to be sort of TV and features, and now we have this sort of limited series where we get to look like a movie but take more time. So we get to explore characters more, explore more story, go to expand the world. So yeah, huge challenge, but everybody was on board for it. It's great.
Right now, if you can take a compliment here, can you, or you're done for the day?
No, that's fine. That never gets old, right?
Well, decades now, you've been working with some of the top properties within animation through obviously this work here with Apple, but also Disney and all that. But your earlier credits, Tales from the Dark Side, is one of the first thing that shows. Did you initially slate to be a horror person before animation kicked off for you?
Oh, you win deep dive in the day. There's a longer story about that. I could say some other time, but I wrote that when I was 16, and ultimately, yeah, sold it to that was a George Romero show. But if you'll notice, no, my what I've always loved animation. I've always wanted to be in animation. I love bringing things to life that aren't alive and instilling emotion in things that don't necessarily have emotion. So you'll notice in that episode, that's what it's about. It's about someone who ultimately ends up bringing things alive, that or something comes alive in that show that wasn't intended to be alive. And it was hard for them to do because they didn't have the biggest budget. But yeah, so it wasn't so much about the horror as much about is bringing things to life that aren't alive.
And these days, it's hard to say, what are you, a showrunner? Are you an executive producer, voiceover talent? There's not a lot of showrunners who are also voiceover talent. Was it your goal to have 8 jobs like you do now?
It's mostly the desire to follow through. When you write something, it's hard to let go and let someone else finish it, I'll say. So it's the joy of bringing a team together and helping as a team realizing something from start to finish. I really want to finish something. So that's mostly what it's about. Yeah, whether it's executive producer or showrunner, I think showrunner tends to be the sort of TV title, but it's mostly about getting a whole team of people, willing, and in this case, years and years and years for animation to be made, right? To keep that sort of enthusiasm for the project from beginning to end.
My last question for you has nothing to do with how much of a genius you are or how great this show is, because you just keep saying those compliments over and over and over again, and then Google picks it up. It said you worked on Mickey Mouse Clubhouse for a long while, and that had a theme song by They Might Be Giants. You've
Yes.
been in the music department on some of the shows that you've worked on. Did you
Yes.
have anything to do with TMBG's relationship with Disney?
Well, not with Disney, but I worked with them on that show. Yeah, I created Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and initially, yeah, those guys came on to write the theme song, and we had a phone conversation about like, well, they're like, what does Mickey say? And I go, well, he says like hot dog and things like that. And so that was the evolution of that. And then they sent me a lot of cool swag, which was nice. But yeah, so yeah, having the they might be, and I was already a fan of theirs anyway. That's part of the fun of this business is if you're a fan of somebody or something, you can kind of like go, hey, you want to work on this? And when you get to work with them, it's so much fun.
So probably the only person I can think of that worked with George Romero's people, They Might Be Giants, Disney, and Apple. That makes you different from everyone else.
I've been blessed in regards to got to work with Chuck Jones and Roy Disney, and I've gotten to work with so many lovely people, both sort of like the generation before me in regards to animation, and the younger generation that's coming up. And that's what's so great when you put a team together on a show like this. You've got all ages of people all creating it, and some people and everybody's sharing their experiences. And animation it's hard. It takes a long time. You got to be committed, but the people who are in it all love it, and it's so much fun to work in it.
Glad to hear that. Well, thank you for your time, and really looking forward to what's to come from me in the near future.
Thanks. I'm still kicking about. I'll keep going.
Paltrocast.